Okay, so now we're going to move into the services section. So firstly, G1 electrics. Clearly, surveyors are not qualified electricians, so ultimately we do recommend a test of the electrical system upon change of ownership as a matter of course. However, we do give a commentary on obvious potential issues. For example, in this case, we can see here we do have quite an old fuse box or consumer unit, so I would certainly be recommending that a test is carried out anyway of the electrical system. However, in this case, the consumer unit does need to be upgraded. So now moving on to section G2, gas and oil. In this particular case, this flat has neither. The main house has oil, and there's no reason why this flat cannot have its own separate supply of oil and install oil central heating. However, the cooker is electric, as is the heating where there are wall-mounted night storage heaters. Normally, if we were doing a house or indeed a flat that had gas central heating, we're not qualified gas engineers, so all we'd be looking at is we'll look at the meter and make sure there's no obvious corrosion, etc. But again, we always recommend, in the case of gas, that it is checked upon change of ownership to make sure the gas supply is efficient and effective and safe. And in the case of oil, if it's a metal, an older metal corroded oil tank, some of the older ones have some corrosion, then we recommend that they get upgraded to a more modern plastic oil tank. So now we're going to do water. So here we have the internal water stop tap. There is another external one on the front lawn. There's not much to say about water in this particular case. We're just looking for any obvious leakage. There's no water tanks, but clearly if there were, which in most cases are up in the loft in a house, we'd be making a commentary about the water tanks, whether or not they might be of asbestos cement construction or metal, in which case they might need to be upgraded to more modern plastic versions. We'd be looking at the overflow pipes, the insulation, and also the tank support base for the water tanks. In this particular case, there is not much to comment on the water. I can't see any obvious leakage. The water's turned on, so it would appear to be okay. So, section G4, heating. In this flat, we have a number of wall-mounted electric heaters. There's not a great deal to say about these. Normally, in most cases, it's gas-fired central heating with press steel radiators, so we'd provide a comment. If the owner was there, we'd get them to start up the boiler, fill the radiators, check they're getting warm, estimate how old the boiler is, and provide a commentary on that, and also the rest of the central heating system, the type of piping used, which is usually copper piping, 15mm copper. So in this particular case, there's not much to comment on with the electric heating. The prospective purchaser may wish to install a wet central heating system, either, in most cases, gas, or in this case, oil, because we're rural. Okay, so moving on to section G5, water heating. In most cases, or a lot of cases, it's by the gas combination boiler. In this case, of course, we've got a hot water cylinder because there is no boiler. So here we have an older copper hot water cylinder with a loose insulation jacket. So it is poorly insulated, as you can tell, and there's quite a lot of heat loss going on, not only from this section, but also from this section as well. So, and here we have the electric immersion heater. So I think really I would be recommending that is upgraded to a more modern hot water cylinder, which is factory insulated. I'm also looking at the overflow pipes, and there's no obvious corrosion. It's generally functional, but just dated and would benefit from being upgraded. Okay, so now we're going to move into section G6, drainage. So I'm going to be lifting the drainage inspection chamber, which I've already identified as just being out there at the rear, and I'm also going to have a look at the soil and vent pipe. So I only need 2 pieces of kit for this. I have a drainage key. I've got 2 of those, but in most cases I just use a drainage key and a screwdriver. So I'll go downstairs and lift that now. Okay, so this is a nice easy inspection chamber to lift, and I can tell that there's no major problems there. What I might quickly do is run upstairs and flush the loo, and then come back to downstairs and make sure that that's all running away. So there we are, we can see that that's nice and free running. The inspection of the drainage is quite an important part of the survey. Firstly, to ensure that it's free running and running away, that it's not blocked by waste or sometimes mortar build up, etc. But also to have a look at the type of the pipes used, particularly ex-local authority properties. They use pitch fibre for the material of the drains, and they can collapse, causing all sorts of problems. Okay, so here we are with the soil and vent pipe, plastic construction. There's no obvious problems here. Quite often they're iron and they can be corroded, and quite often asbestos cement construction as well, and they just need to be upgraded, particularly if they're metal and corroding. I'm also having a look at the top of the stack to make sure that it's capped to allow for ventilation of the flue, but to stop birds and vermin getting in.